Hello everyone and thank you for joining me. For today, considering that fall is upon us and school has just started, I decided to look at a fountain pen or to draw with a fountain pen that I think it kind of fits the theme. Basically, this is a HongDian, specifically the C3 version in sunflower. Or better said, sunflower yellow. Has a pretty colorful gold-like with tints of orange pattern, obviously full of sunflowers as the name suggested, and the flowers actually feel very tactile. I like it, and I think it does help with gripping the pen. Ooh, very stiff clip. I don't know how usable it is, but definitely very stiff. No other features on the pen except the silver band on the cap. Full push cap. Works very nice. Yellow section that matches the pen. Number 5 nib. Extra fine in my case, as I like it. Nice feed, not the usual Chinese generic feed. As all HongDian fountain pens, it comes with a converter. Not a fancy one, but definitely a very functional one. We have an O-ring at the base of the section for the barrel to grab on. We have another silver band on the barrel. Good balance in hand. Oops, as I said that, I drop it. The way I like it, heavy towards the section. Beautiful part about the pen is that it posts nice and deep, and the balance actually once posted stays pretty much in the middle of the pen, which is actually pretty decent. I like it. I think I would enjoy this pen posted all the time, for writing and for drawing. My writing position, drawing position, yeah, actually this is pretty perfect. If that nib functions as it should, I think this is gonna be another favorite from them. I haven't used it until today, so let's go and ink it up, do a writing test, and then we'll jump into the drawing. For the ink today, I will be using the same ink that I used last week, the Octopus Grey Frog. I really like this ink, and I think it's becoming slowly one of my favorite inks. One of the reasons why I wanted to reuse the ink is to actually see how it will work on my cotton paper, specifically the white cotton paper. And I know I played with the fountain pen from last week, the like fountain pen. I played with it a little bit on a scrap piece of cotton paper, and I wasn't sure I liked it. So today I wanted to dive a little bit deeper into it and use the same ink. For the writing portion, the fountain pen worked perfectly as it can get, maybe with the exception on the reverse, where it wasn't as flowy as on the normal side, but that's not a big deal. I guess you could still use it in cases where you want a more thinner and drier ink or line, basically. Other than that, the nib worked actually very good. It's fairly wet, and the surprising or pleasant part of the pen is that you can squeeze a little bit of line variation if you press a little bit harder, as you've seen when I did flourishing. For writing, I would say 2 thumbs up. At least the model that I have with the nib that is on it works exactly how I wanted it to work. And the extra fine, in my opinion, it's an actual extra fine. Jumping into the drawing, did my usual thing, no real plans, just started with some chicken scribblings on the page and then grew from there. Slowly, I kind of nailed down quickly the eye, how I wanted it, and then I just again grew from there. I wanted to first go with a first layer just to get an overall shape to the drawing and then start and darken parts to hopefully give it a little bit more dimension. No full scale size monster, just I guess a portrait close up of one. Again, no idea what it is, but I actually enjoyed working on this one. And I mean, I don't, obviously it's not the ink. As I mentioned before, this type of paper, especially the white cotton paper that I have in here, since it doesn't have anything on top of it, the paper tends to be a little bit more flaky. So as you scrub or basically try to put the lines on the page and you add layers, it kind of scrubs on the page and leaves some pieces from the paper. And because the ink it's a little bit more transparent as well, takes a little bit longer to build your layers and to get your darker parts. Gets to a point where you actually start digging into the page. Partly because, well, the extra fine nib, it's so fine that it can easily start scratching the paper and pick up, I guess, lint between the tines. Something that I had to clean a little bit more often than I liked it. And but overall it worked. It actually worked, and especially with this nib being a little bit more wet than the nib from last week, seemed to work a little bit better on this paper. Speaking of the ink, I like it. I'm probably gonna use it for a while, a little bit. Maybe not for the next drawing, or maybe. I'm not sure exactly what fountain pen I'll be trying next week. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna go with the same ink, because there is a specific fountain pen that I want to try whenever I'm brave enough to try it, and that will force me to use a specific type of ink. Anyway, back to what I'm doing right now. Fountain pen was really well balanced. I really enjoyed it, and like I mentioned, using it for writing and for drawing, I do prefer it posted. The balance, it's a little bit more neutral with the cap on, which a lot of people might like actually, even though personally I do prefer a nib heavy fountain pen. I kind of have to admit, because of the length and the neutral balance, posted in this case works. Just again, be careful with that clip. It's really tight, at least on the copy that I have, because if you try and clip a piece of paper, it's so tight that I could see it could rip it apart, or actually dent it, make like a indentation in the paper. And if you try and put it like in a shirt or something like that, depending on your shirt, I don't know. I don't know how well it will work. Personally, I just think of it as a roll stopper, and I don't really care, since personally I don't really care about clips that much. The nib was beautiful. I really like it. It worked exactly how I wanted it to work, and even if it was getting clogged with the lint from the paper, I was able to easily clean it, and it didn't really give me a lot of grief. Very comfortable pen. I like it. I believe there is one more version of it that I know of, a blue version, still with sunflowers on it, but in blue and orange, if I remember correctly. Fairly affordable price, depending what you're getting it from. I've seen places where you can actually get it for under 20 Canadian dollars, which will make it on my affordable or cheap fountain pens that are actually really good. And since the build quality is actually pretty good, and it's all metal as far as I can tell, it's definitely an option that I would recommend to at least consider it. And obviously HongDian has been doing a lot of good fountain pens. They have a pretty good reputation, and very few fountain pens from them that I personally didn't like that much. This one is definitely a favorite in my books, at least. Good size, good grip, and good girth. I think it could fit a lot of people. As for the drawing, again, one of my things to do, and I really love the cotton paper because it actually works with my type of drawing, and every time I come back to it, I realize how much I miss it. One thing I haven't used in a while, it's the other one, the tinted paper, which I actually like it a little bit more than the white cotton paper because it does has a tint, and as such it does has like an extra layer on it that makes the paper less flaky. So I might do a drawing next time in my sketchbook, or maybe I'll pull one of the larger pieces of paper, loose pieces of paper that I used to use. The only thing with those, it's a lot of paper. I believe they're 9 by 12 or something like that, and takes way longer to do a drawing on it. Not because I don't enjoy it, it's just the video will be very long, at least for me. Usually to complete a paper 9 by 12 with a drawing, especially if I try and cover as much of the paper as possible, it can take me up to 4 hours in a sitting, which sometimes I run out of patience very quickly, and I get very tired since I usually do these after 12 o'clock. And anyway, fun drawing. I really like it. I definitely like the ink. I definitely love the fountain pen, and I recommend that. Not much else to say other than try it out. I think they're beautiful fountain pens. And as for the Octopus ink, I'm thinking to get another ink. See, that's how you build your collection. You keep on buying inks because you discover new things, even though you're not really finishing the ink bottles. But I like it. And by the way, I did try and see if the ink is waterproof. I did like a test sample in the alcohol marker sketchbook on the last page, and then I used like a very wet brush after the ink dried, and not even a smudge, which surprised me because that piece of paper is very smooth to begin with. So that's what makes me want to look into watercolors from them, if all are waterproof. Anyway, starting to ramble again like usual, so I'll stop here. Love the drawing, very interesting. Love the fountain pen, still love the ink. And again, thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you next week. Wish you nothing but the best and a wonderful day or night, wherever you are. Take care. Bye.